MC. Yeah, oh yeah. It's that boom bap, MC hip hop. Oh yeah, it's that bap, street hop, street hop, boom bap TV. It's that boom bap, MC hip hop. Yeah, it's that boom bap, MC hip hop rap. Yeah, spit it acapella all tracks. It's that boom bap, MC hip hop rap. Spit it acapella all track. It's that boom bap. It's that boom bap. It's that boom bap. MC hip hop rap. All track. Oh yeah.
Peace and blessings, love and light. What's going on? It's your boy M-Ski1, aka Lord Get Busy, aka Brother Malcolm, and welcome to BAP TV. And we have another installment of our in-house interview series at SUBLIME Crown Studios. And today's distinguished guest is none other than Mike Handz.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling, man?
Peace, welcome, brother. Good to have you here.
Indeed.
What was your inspiration? What was the catalyst, or what was the hook that fished you in, reeled you into this culture that we know and love, known as hip hop?
All right. So hip hop, my musical inspiration was not initially hip hop driven. My dad was a jazz drummer, so listening to him and being, he used to try to train me. So he bought me a practice pad and some things. So that was my first foray into instrumentation and music, rhythm. Fourth grade, I used to sing first before I even started rapping. So fourth grade, I'm walking through the school, PS 249 in Brooklyn, Flatbush stand up. So I'm walking, and Miss Beck, never forget her, she was the choir leader. And I'm singing in the hallway. I can't remember what I was singing. It's probably like New Edition or something 1,000 years ago. And she literally stops in the hallway like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, just going to the bathroom. I thought I was in trouble." She's like, "No, your voice. What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, no, I was just, I'm sorry. I thought it was just being too loud." And like, just, she was like, "Nah, I need to see you in the auditorium after school." And I went, and it was choir rehearsal, choir practice, chorus practice. And I've been in choirs and choruses ever since, till I graduated high school. I toured, won awards, best tenor soloist and things like that throughout the years. I ended up singing gospel in my high school choir. It was a choir, national Black Caucus. We've competed nationally, and I always thought I was going to be a vocalist. My first deal situation was as a vocalist in a group in junior high school. Anthony, Reggie, Fritz. I thought we were gonna be a group, and that's what we were doing, vocal lessons on the weekends, and up 5 a.m. type, and we don't get home till 8:30 in the evening type thing, every Saturday and Sunday. I really thought that's what my path was gonna be. Then my parents had, a little stipulation in our situation. If our grade point average dropped below a certain space, then the contracts would no longer be valid. And they had that put in. The weakest link in our group, the one that was our friend, he wasn't even really a vocalist. Like, he didn't sing well at all. He was like Ronnie DeVoe, but he was our friend, and he did all the steps. He knew all the steps, and he was one of our favorite people. So he's coming with us. So we worked with him the best we could. Sometimes we honestly his mic would be really low on stage, but it'd be there, but low. Nobody would know it, and he performed his heart out. He's a great performer, just didn't have really the vocals. This is before hip hop, the rap were really incorporated into the R&B space like that. So we could have just wrote raps for him, right? But we didn't have songs to cover that had raps in them, so he had to, sing with us. So anyway, fast forward, group breaks up because of the grades. Everybody goes a different way. The whole group, one is a construction worker, the other are barbers, like master barbers. That's where they ended up. I'm the only one that's still in music, right? One day, two of my other friends get on the bus with me and they're like, yo, we're starting a rap group. We're in the 8th grade. Starting a rap group. I'm like, bro, I don't rap. He was like, we're starting a rap group. I'm like, well, I'll do the choruses. I was so unsavvy. I didn't even know that hooks was the term. I'm like, well, I'll do the choruses. They're like, what? I'm like, I can sing the choruses. And they're like, no, you gonna rap. So I'm like, crap. Come to my house after school. We gonna write some raps. I'm like, oh man, okay, cool. So we go to, they write half of my first rap for me, right? This is Chris Marshall and Aaron Vera. We go to Fort Hamilton in Brooklyn, the Army base, because we went to Fort Hamilton Junior High School. So we go on the base. Now upstairs, this is where because there was a group upstairs which is consisted of his older brother, Andre Marshall, and another cat named Harold Lee that we knew growing up as Lee. And they had a group called Chaos and Mass Confusion, right? So they upstairs getting their raps on for real. We downstairs sounding terrible, right? But we trying. So we the little brothers and little cousins and little friends trying. We trying our best. We sound horrible, but we can hear them through the floor. So we're trying to emulate them. Long story short, Dre stops, becomes financial corporate guy. Harold Lee goes on to become Babyface Chaos from the Bush Babies. So now Lee, as he evolves with his group, YT and Mr. Man Khalil start to come around Fort Hamilton with him now that they formed that group. We're still trying to get our stuff together. We're not following Dre anymore. We're now following Lee. So now Lee, and who would become the Bush Babies, would be our inspiration and trying to mimic them. So for the first 2 years after Lee sat me down and gave me to talk about diction and delivery and rhyme scheme and structure, I sound like Babyface Chaos from the Bush Babies because that was the only reference I had. So I knew he was doing it right, so I was emulating him. And it took about 2 years before I came away from that and into my own kind of thing. But I guess that would be the defining moment for me where I committed to the hip-hop space. As an artist, listening, parents just don't understand about Will Smith. I learned it word for word in the bathroom and then performed it for my parents downstairs. That was my first rap I knew word for word. Me and my cousin Roger.
Yeah. There's a time I will go to
Black Market, what up? Boot camp, what up? It's them!
Shit, I don't care who you gon' get. Shit that I spit is hot, pin the miracle mix. Miracle wits, skirted with the tangiest kicks. And in between the bread, my dressing is immaculate. I'm a boss, my titanium heart pumps ether. The shit that I spit is acidic and sick. I'm a Kingsman, 00, MI6. And I'm a hitter with them flame spitters, Jonathan Wick. This life and death in my film is inducing cardiac, pulmonary maneuvers and arresting anybody that try and front on the guard. I mean the C&D spirit walking, talking to Mayans throughout the centuries. I come to do it how it gotta be done. It's Hamz, homie, yeah, the prodigal son. Get to know me, and if you better, I promise you gotta show me. And if not, play the bitch, nigga, blow me. Fuck out of here.
Real hitters on deck, pull your mans up. Fucking what you frontin', throw your hands up.
Come up off them watches and them pearls, them diamonds, you got your girl. I know you wishing that you never try and stun it. I got hitters from the block that's known to come get it high for them stripping bag singles and them hundreds. I ain't trying to hit me, I ain't leaving nothing. Your face against the wall can be anything.
Listen, yo, these carbon copies are not me, they porta potties, they cocky, some garbage rocky. They probably get popped in the lobby, don't start with Rocky. Hard to stop me, gonna try me, park you sloppy. Zoom to the moon, I will Reggie rock and launch your body. Here's a tip, for the whole shit I throw your punk ass under a bus, but I won't snitch. 4/5 blow chips out your whole chin. You ain't got no coaching and no friends, do you? Pakistan, but ain't talking about Arab niggas. No, a Pakistan, that's a slam of the air nigga. Whoa, a Pakistan, it's a family of weird niggas. A whole Pakistan, I say stand, be like, yeah, niggas. Gone, Monster Man Rocco, I must break you. I am Rocky and Drago. Or break yourself, who's a straight clap, something gladly. See your cash and jewels and take that like Puff Daddy.
Real hitters on deck, pull your mans up. Fuck it, what you frontin', throw your hands up. Come up off them watches and them pearls, them diamonds, you got your girl. I know you wishing that you never try and stun it. I got hitters from the block that's known to come get it high for them stripper bag singles and them hundreds. I ain't trying to hit it, I ain't leaving nothing. Get your face against the wall, can be everything.
Like the Marvel comics, I guess. When did you make your debut?
My origin story?
Yeah, like...
Alright, so now, with that said, in all fairness, music is not my only craft. So my art journey, my mother was a clothing designer. That's what she went to school for. She was a freehand designer, you know, illustrator. So my mom used to draw Disney characters all over my room when I was, 4 or 5 years old. I used to watch her work. That was the most... To watch her look at a book and now put that on my wall was always... I want to do that. I want to be able to do what she just did, right? So I had a cousin, still have a cousin. They call him 5'5", Sherrod Riley. And he was the lefty version of me. The boy can draw. He was amazing. And he's a couple years older than me. And because of our drawing interests, like that really is what bonded us. Like we literally learned Photoshop together. Initially sitting on a bench in my grandmother's computer, Photoshop Deluxe, which was the first installment of Photoshop. It was like Photoshop Office, right? Had 3 tools in it, if you ask me, but we started with that, and that was long before the fashion journey, long before the art journey. We just were putting letters on paper. Like we didn't know what we were doing, but we could color and scribble and draw. We did a animated cartoon short. We drew 250 frames on printer paper. We made fake registrations on the wall, on the bottom of the wall, with duct tape so that the paper wouldn't move. We stacked 3 books and put my uncle's video camera on it, and we literally recorded for 2 seconds, stopped because it rolls back 1 second, and we shot every single frame and did a stop animation cartoon. The name of the company was Riley Rogers Productions, right? We're 12 and 13, 12 and 14 years old. The way his name ended up coming first, we took a number 2 pencil and spun it, and whoever it pointed at and he won. So it became Riley Rogers Productions. And that was not only my first foray really into my arts, but that was kind of the first foray into business for me too. First time I had a company. Was it incorporated? Heck no, but it was it was a conglomerate of 2 minds, and we had a goal in mind, and we were going to do it under this name. So that was a very defining moment for us. And he's gone on to move to Vegas. He's a very accomplished photographer and graphic artist. He owns KG Body, the magazine, and I went on to become who I became.
Influences as far as I know you talk about the brother who upstairs, Tokyo has a Mass Confusion. As far as like artists or like past and present,
come on, I got the classics. I got Rakim, Coogee Rap, Big Daddy Kane, Coogee Rap, Rakim, Kane, Tretch, Chipful. Those are my core influences through the early 90s. Like I said, Will Smith prior to everything. I just was a Will Smith fan. It just was what it was, I thought he was creative and I thought he was funny, and I was always known as a clown. a class clown or what have you. So he was rapping, but he was funny. Like, you know, Nightmare on My Street, Parents Just Don't Understand, so on and so forth. So he was actually had an undertow in here. Oh man, I guess it was more than that, because you have your Luther Vandross, Peebo Bryson, Elder Barge, Michael, of course. I was Michael Jackson for like 4 Halloweens in a row. I was Beat It, Bad, Thriller, and Billie Jean Michael Jackson.
I think every young man from our generation was Michael Jackson.
At some point, right?
Yeah.
But you don't understand. It was very OD. Like, I had socks dipped in glitter.
Brother, I know.
I had
gloves, I know.
And the glove, I'm telling you how I got the glove.
Hi, Chris. How's everything going? I miss you, son. How's the show? You started the show yet? Everything's okay over here. I was just thinking about you. The weather's not as hot as it was before, but it's not bad. I love you. I'm gonna learn to control this thing. It just take a little time for me, okay? All right, sweetheart. I'm gonna let you talk to me. Love you.
I confess I am lost in the age of the social. On our knees, take a test to be loving and grateful. Shots were fired on the street by the church where we used to meet. Angel down, but the people just stood around.
Whoa, 'cause I keep thinking to self, this just can't happen. Maybe to somebody else, so when it all happened, they hit like under the belt, and I just lost traction, seeing fear and pain in the face, and wondering what happened. How we get thrown in the game, middle of 4th round, 4th lane running, she crippled, rushing through 4th down. I looked at her, she looked at me and said, I'm not scared. Terrified, I swallowed my fears, and when my throat cleared, I uttered back, there you have it, mommy. We gon' fight. She said, we gon' beat it together. I said, you damn right. Taking appointments together, we doing all scans. Long days, plotting survival, just me and mom. Just a few months ago, these things seemed fair. The diabetes, we had it handled, things all seemed clear. Hypertension, we black folks, we all been there. But in Indina, carcinoma, out the clear blue air. Yo, what the fuck?
Church where we used to meet. Angel down, but the people just stood around.
I couldn't understand, no matter how detailed they tried to sell it, we were lost. How to get it, to speak it, or how to spell it, we were tossed. Me and my sister devoted, trying to nail it. Watching the manage drugs for my mama, like trying to sell it. Mommy got you. Believing the treatments would be enough, but the pain behind the tumors and medicines getting tough. And if the challenge is to breathe and to eat wasn't enough, my mother's bones are getting needed. She's weathered, this getting rough. We on the ropes now, struggling to cope with the slopes. How? Looking at a line, Jehovah, even the Pope. Wow, ducking depression, I'm losing, feeling my grip, slipping, kidney function dropping towards failure, feeling my heart skipping, head cloudy, trying to focus, but yo, the God tripping, trying to stay connected. I'm struggling, hearing the line clipping. Mama told me there be days like this, so thank God she raised a man like Chris.
I confess I am lost in the age of the social. On our knees, take a test to be loving and grateful. Shots were fired on the street by the church where we used to meet. Angel down, but the people just stood around.
You think that level of continuity, of variety, and just overall balance, how far away do you think we are from actually to bringing that back to the forefront?
Well, I think the beautiful part about what corporate America and what the internet and everything did, they pushed hip hop back to its origin. We're underground again, universally, right? Because record labels and analog mom pop stores don't operate the same way anymore. It's now back to how we used to have to hold the radio dial in between two stations and find Bobito, right? Now you have to log on and go search and find who you want to hear, be it on a Spotify, iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever you go. So you're crate digging again, technically, right? And with that, that's where the diversity came from. For 20 years, you were at the mercy of the machine, and the machine told you what you liked. That's what they promoted, that's what they forced down your throat, that's the only thing that was available, whatever they put out. Now, anybody and everybody with every sound, every vision can put their music in the same record store, be it iTunes, Spotify, whatever, which now opens up a different diversity and to subgenres and subcultures and sub-sounds that might quite not be Jay-Z, might not quite be Will Smith, might not quite be Machine Gun Kelly, but might not quite be Eminem. It's Craig. You found Craig. And now Craig is who you listen to because something about Craig connects with you. I might never have heard of Craig in my whole life, but because you love Craig, I got in your car one day and, yo, who that? That's Craig. And now I went and searched and now I'm a Craig fan. So, yes, right now is exactly that time. We've been forced back into the sun. You know how Superman gets his power from the sun? That's how hip-hop thrives from the underground. We got lost because we became too mainstream. Got too commercial. Got too pop. That's where the issue was at. We became a slave to corporation. We became a slave to the machine and the status quo of what hip-hop was. Now, we've been forced to be independent again. We've been forced to be non-dependent again. We've been forced to carve and create and control our own art and take it to the masses and hope they accept us again. That's where we thrived from. We became $1 billion industry from there. So I think something incredible is about to happen all over again when it comes to the platter of sound and the platter of genre. It's just a matter of what you gravitate to. You know what I mean? Before, even though you had I listen to my own thing, yeah, but you only got 10 choices. So where you think you've made your own choice, there's still only a choice of 10 pre-selected choices. Because that's all the record labels gave you. 10 labels, each label put out something per quarter. You only had 10 new choices. Now that's not the case. You can find anything, and anything can become a star depending on how people connect with it. Yeah.
We didn't touch on the magazines.
Mm-hmm. So Pro Magazine New York was the first attempt that I made with my man KB Tyndall some years ago. We partnered with we licensed the Pro Magazine scenario from a guy in Boston, and we created Probe New York, and that was the first crack that we took at it. It was a very awesome and look at underground music and independent music. Didn't quite pan out. We didn't have the support we really wanted from the parent company to fulfill our version of the vision. So we kind of set it down. KB actually writes in Validated Magazine now as well. So, you know, I always try to keep the same team on the floor, no matter what sport. I partnered with my man Real, Terrell out of VA. And I don't know if I was supposed to let his Clark Kent name out, but I did it. And he had started something very interesting, Validated. I thought it was an awesome concept, awesome title. And I thought that's what a magazine does. Like, whoever you put in it, that artist should be validated by the fact he was selected to be a part of that show or a part of that publication or a part of that, you know, not just anybody, you know. And that was important to me, you know, with what I've done with the concerts, with Writer's Block, so on and so forth. I felt that we were validating the artists on stage, and now I get to have a print medium that I can control, like who I think should be heard or who I think should be seen, you know. And I think I qualify as somebody with enough work in, enough credential to that my opinion might mean a little something to certain people in certain circles, especially in the independent space, you know. And it's been great. It looks good. I love how it looks. I love how it feels. Shout out to my production team and my editors on the back end. I try to bring as many interesting articles, and you know, we have an artist out of Germany, Confused Art, that's incredible, that does all of our actual illustrations, just like in the back of the source back in the days. We have Red Alert on the cover. We've had Eric Sermon, Rockwalla, Ty Fife, and myself on covers. We've had Bateman Global, Ricky Batch. We just did the Red Alert 35th anniversary cover. And our next cover for April is Smith & Wesson, to celebrate the drop of the All album and their 25 years in the game.
Wow, 25 years.
Yeah. Telling me about it.
That's good.
How you doing? What it do? It's your boy Mike Handz, man, live and direct, Boom BAP TV. We getting it in. You can find me at Mike Handz on everything. MikeHandz.com, Mike Handz Bandcamp, Mike Handz SoundCloud, or if you really want to just get to the, go to Google. Just Google Mike Handz, MICHANDZ, and tell me what you find.
I see all of this pain in me. All of this pain. I see all of this pain in me. All of this. Far as I can see, I had to play the cards given to me. The best I can, knowing this life's for me. Sacrifices in the love lost at all costs and drama it brings. And though it stings, I still gotta be me. If this is for me, all the decisions, good and the bad intentions, will lead me to where I'm posing to be. It's pain that I see, the pain some of my choice can bring. I only hope that there's forgiveness for me. Yeah, I got working at the asphalt, trying to stuff a bag in this cash vault, fighting like it's part of the stash fault. Moments of rash hope, trying to rectify from my last call. I'm pinned in, crying this last bolt, jotting these end quotes, balance on the staff of these half notes, sailing through this life on a half boat, opened and then quotes, trying to draw the bridge on this last moat, and charge in, storming where most won't. Failures are postponed, victories are getting me close zone. Aspire to be higher cause most won't. Price too high, sacrificial living a lie. Balancing blessings in abundant supply. Training my mental is essential, I ride. Writing tales within my book of Eli. Shit moving blind behind the spiritual. Only problem is a demon is an angel to the untrained eye. May look the same if you believe in the lie. Far as I can see, I had to play the cards given to me. The best I can, knowing this life's for me. Sacrifices and the love lost at all costs and drama it brings. And though it stings, I still gotta be me.
MC. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's that boom bap. MC hip hop. Oh yeah. It's that bap. Street hop. Street hop. Boom bap TV. It's that boom bap. MC hip hop. Yeah. It's that boom bap. MC hip hop rap. Yeah. Spit it acapella all tracks. It's that boom bap. MC hip hop rap. Spit it acapella all track. It's that boom bap. It's that boom bap. It's that boom bap. MC hip hop rap. All track. Oh yeah.